Well, good morning, good people of YouTube. I'm Michigan Lusco, the Tenkaichi of gaming. Nice to see you again. Well, since it is the new year, 2013, we're already in the first day of February. Or to some people who want to be totally proper. February, or February, or February. If you didn't get that joke, go buy Game Pass. You'll see. Anyway, this is the first day of February. I know in the LP community there are people that are, wanting to be LPers while at the same time want to know what it is to be an LPer. Well, to those who have already reached their first year of LPing, and beyond that, allow me to share my wisdom to those who have not actually started on LPing. There are a few things you have to remember about being a Let's Player. The first thing is, you have to be yourself. And I feel that most people in the gaming, the gaming community, they usually forget to, be themselves. And usually that is the case because, the name, their namesake, gives off fame and everything. I mean, some LPers are like that. Some aren't. I think some are too big for their own britches, and they need to be knocked down a peg. But that's just me. I'm not like that. I just tell it like it is. Anyway, I'll get a little light there. Okay, now, what I also feel is that if you are already an LPer and you just passed your first year and you don't know what to do next, here's what you can do. Actually, just make a list of the games you'd like to do instead of the games you'd want to do. Games you like are totally different because these are games that you can actually, do, and you have no problem in trying to navigate through it the best way you know how. That's a good thing. Now, as for the games you'd want to do, it's very easy. Just make a list of the games you'd want to do. The smart thing I always do before I take on any kind of feature, like February is my Final Fantasy feature, but I like to alternate, keep everything fresh. Like, first off it was Fire Emblem for February, then it was Final Fantasy for February, and now it's the month of Mana. So therefore, this is what's going on. You have to be creative sometimes. Sometimes being creative really does help with you being a Let's Player. Me, I like to be creative when I do my Let's Plays. Namely, the games I actually play, and I do mean this. If you really don't have, if you really can't be creative, experiment. Another thing that some of you who are first starting out in the business should know about is commentary. Now, commentary is equally important because, well, if you haven't learned public speaking by now, then just remember this. Pretend you're playing the game and you're just talking about it. Now, when you talk about it, you talk about the good and the bad, your memories of said game. If you have a story about it, combine it in your commentary. Not only does it make for good commentary, but people will somewhat get interested of what you do. Another thing I should mention is, don't think about subs. When you first start out, you want people to notice you. Well, the thing is this. If you're doing Let's Plays just to get noticed, you're doing it wrong. However, and I do mean however, if you just play the game and continuously do parts of it, the number will grow. Now, it's a good thing and there's a bad thing. Because since people are sort of fickle about certain Let's Players, which is quite sad but true, the one thing I feel you shouldn't do is get frustrated about it. After all, as I said before, people are fickle. They can and will leave you for no apparent reason, just because they want entertainment and not, boring chatter. Another thing I need to point out for all you new Let's Players is the way you handle yourself. Now, I can say it goes with the same as commentary, but the way you handle yourself makes a difference between you getting more people or views, whereas, how the delivery is made, I should say. Now, from what I've seen, most Let's Players, like I said, become creative. Some people, they say it like this. They don't really say, some people, they don't say Let's Play. They say this, like, I'll take for instance, Val77. He puts down the gaming experience. That's fine. But it's still a Let's Play. Or, I'll give a better example. Big Fatty Plus. He's a Let's Player too, but instead of saying Let's Play, he said he puts it down on his videos, Big Man Plays. Or, at sometimes, Big Man Rages. Case in point. Me, I say Let's Play. Because I'm playing, you're watching. That's how it's always been. Now, I couldn't change it into anything else because, I don't know, different titles sometimes do not fit the video I'm doing. However, if I have something like, say, March of the Super Robots Mark III, Unfinished Business, number 2, or whatever else. I'm giving out some ideas. It works for me because it's basically a theme. So whatever game I'm going with, or games I'm doing, they all have a certain theme. And they usually have a theme like comic books or anime or a certain series or maybe a video game company. Like it could be the best of Squaresoft or the best of Sega or the best of Nintendo or the best of Sunsoft, whatever. There are a whole lot of things you can do with a game that you're doing, and like I said, you can be creative with it, but just don't be bland with it. Another thing that I feel is very important to state, and I do mean state, is that your setup. And I don't mean, recording software. Recording software can be anything. It can be Camtasia, it can be Fraps. Hell, it could be even ZDSoft. It could even be Cam Studios. It doesn't matter. But that's not the point. I even use this camera that I'm using to do that I'm doing this video with, as well as me doing something off my Xbox or my Wii. Now, of course, as you see here, there's my Wii. I usually don't really do Let's Plays with it, but I'm still considering doing that. And as you see here, my Xbox, in which I plan to do a Let's Play pretty soon. I don't know what it is, but don't bug me with it. Hardware, that's another thing. Hardware is very important. And like I said, I usually use, for anything like for Wii or the 360, I use the camera. Now I know what you're thinking. I should really get a capture card. Nah. I mean, I already have a capture card. I just haven't hooked it up, and that's a Dazzle. And the only reason why I haven't hooked up the Dazzle is one of two things. Well, one is I don't have the cord for it. But two, I feel that, this camera can do just as good as the Dazzle. I mean, it can work. It works both ways as long as you know how to use the tool that you have. Another thing I have to point out, if you're new to the world of Let's Plays, you should learn, and I truly do mean this. Don't put your Let's Plays in lower caps. I feel sometimes whenever I look up Let's Plays, there are certain people who actually have, lowercase. They have Let's Plays in lowercase. And, I'm saying this, I'm really saying this because if you really want to present yourself as a Let's Player, You've got to. And I mean, you've got to make sure that when you say let's play, make sure that let's play is in capitals. It's proper, properly noun with a capital L and a capital P. Also, another thing is, if you're doing a let's play, and I don't care where you are, if you need to do voices, you can do voices. However, I would condone the fact that if you try and if you try to do something that really isn't funny, don't do it. If you know it's not funny, then don't even try. It's sad but true. It's sad but true. I mean, really. It's like this. It's like going to apply for a job. Someone has to read your handwriting, and if you show up with chicken scratch, you put your name in chicken scratch. It's not even good handwriting. It's just the shittiest handwriting you can ever make out with. It's like a 5-year-old starting off in first grade. That's a sad thing. And they weren't even properly trained to actually spell right. And they should know how to spell right. Or whatever else that they can't do. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't, I'm not saying that, you should know everything takes time. You don't really have like a rush set of, you're not on a deadline. And like I said, there are certain things you just need to know. Take your time with the game. With me, I usually play games in advance. So let's take, for instance, what I'm working on currently. I'm working on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games all at once. But yeah, I'm taking my time with it because with a long game, you just take your time with it, and when the time comes for you to present it, it's going to look nice. As long as you take your time with it. You take your time with your videos. You take, when you set them up and then you put it into, the description box on what you're going to say. Take your time. Don't rush. It's good that you're doing something, but it's better if you take your time while you're rushing. Another thing I have to say, and it's something that we all need to keep mind of, is accept advice. It's somewhat of a thing, Now I have that teacher persona living within me, I have Mr. Izzy, and Mr. Izzy says that you have to take advice. You know for yourself, when you need advice, you got to take advice. Simple as that. It's good that, people like what you do. However, I'd say take advice, please. Take the advice of your peers. It's like, if you have help, if you need help with the game, that's what you need to do. Ask questions. Like you do in school. Ask questions you don't know. Aside from that, I'd say this. if you feel inspired to be a Let's Player, then go for it. If you need somebody, I mean, if someone sees you as, you know, the greatest LPer in the known universe, it's good, but, you know, just kind of tell them, you know, curb your enthusiasm a bit, you know, slow your roll, son, slow your roll, and just, you know, don't be afraid to take someone under your wing, especially if they look up to you. It's not a bad thing. I mean, you know, like I said, as a former teacher, I usually, it can't be helped. You know, you have to give advice, and sometimes you got to put the stick down, and you gotta lay it down, and you gotta make sure that what you say goes through one ear and out the other, so they can hear properly, so they can follow your directions. And another thing, and the most important thing, is have fun. That's the most important rule besides being yourself, is to have fun. Because if you're a Let's Player and you're doing everything else and you're worried about this and you're worried about that, don't worry about it. Just have fun with the game. People will come, and I hate to quote Field of Dreams, but if you play it, they will come. So that's all you need to remember. Just play the game and just have fun with it. I mean, if you want to, I mean, the way you play your games, you know, I don't mind. I play the games my way. People play their games their way. And another thing is, when you're doing a project, it's good to just say, "Oh, I'm going to do a couple more parts or such," but don't say, "I'm going to do this" at the end of it. No, the smart thing is this: don't show how many times you failed. Don't even mention how many times you failed. Okay? If you're going to do that, throw your video through Media Player, make a small edit list of how many times that this happened and this happened. But, you know, don't do that to yourself. You know, don't do that to yourself. Make the best of what you got, and, you know, roll with it. You know, don't make yourself sound like an idiot, and just take it in stride. I feel like I need to say this because no one is better than the other, and really, as far as games are concerned, I'd say, you know, play what you play like nobody's business, and enjoy yourself. So yeah, that's all I have to say. So with that, my fellow LPs, I have been the Tenkaichi of Gaming, and I hope you have been listening and watching. So take care, God bless, and Tenkai Muso. See you around.